Hello, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Submitted for Your Approval, the weekly card review show for Collective, the community-created card game, where you make the cards and I do the finger guns, and I forget to, and then I always do it earlier than I'm supposed to start doing that. I am joined today by my faithful co-host, Grief.
Good grief, it's your Krampus here.
As well as my jolly, my merry, my utterly Christmassy co-host, Empty Folder.
Hello, everyone.
And today we decided we'd do something different for Christmas. This is not going to be a regular thing. We have for you not one, not two, but three guest hosts with us today. First, we are joined by the Realm admin for Yamato and creator of a lot of great arts for the game, Dia. Say hi to everyone.
Hello.
Okay. And so the Realm admin for Tutela, our Ghost of Christmas Past, Bonk.
Feliz Navidad.
Or that. And also joining us today is the Realm admin for Xandar and one of the co-helper designers of Mainoir, Magneter.
Good day.
Okay, so format, obviously, going to get a little trippy. We'll get into it in a minute. But for now, let's jump straight into the accepted submissions. These are cards that are already in the game, and you can play with them now. Starting with the Abonid Wrestler is a 5-drop Spirit 1/1 insect gunslinger from Karapak. With ambush and summon, destroy a non-Abonid Wrestler ally and create a 0-cost 5/5 copy of it in your hand. So this is a great little upgrade, summon, retrigger, a bunch of other stuff. At its heart, it's a 5-drop 1/1, which is kind of lackluster, but it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I think it has a lot of potential, and of course, this does play nicely in the non-native and token-based strategies. For the accepted submissions, we're just going to have the panel, the core panel talk, and we'll get into the guests later. Grief, what do you think of this?
To this day, I can't still kind of put my finger on what's actually happening on this artwork.
It's a monster wrangler. Well, yeah, I guess the focus of the art is actually this dude, which is bad. Like, that's the wrestler. I don't know. And he's a gunslinger, but he doesn't have a gun, or I can't see one. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of weird to read, but
to be honest, I don't really know where to use this card for.
Sure, it's like D and Onion, isn't it? It's a D and Onion type thing.
It's basically a D and Onion with a 0-cost token that it creates. And yeah, I mean, sure, you kill your entombed trigger insects, which then become bigger and can be played for zero, which also helps. Food card just beat me to that. I don't really know an application for this card.
It is pretty bizarre.
It's not really one of my favorites of the cards that got into that in that week.
Yeah. MP, what do you think of it?
Well, there's another card that got in this week that is very good with this, and that's Dustwing Brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I think Dustwing Brothers is such a strong payoff for insects. You can just build your whole deck around it.
No,
Like, it's kind of the best card in their package. Admittedly, the mana point for that is kind of awkward because you have to play Dustwing on 6 and then play this the turn afterwards in order to get a copy of it. But getting 15 worth of stats with Duelists fast and readied instantly for 0 mana when you kill a Dustwing Brother with this is pretty nuts. So yeah, I think that's going to be worth running it for.
Okay, moving straight along, the Summoner is a 1-drop neutral 1/2 human Arcanist from Alter Corona, the other time realm. With Summon, choose one of 3 random units from your deck that cost 2 or less to put on top of your deck. Oh, so this is kind of playing into like a from your deck that costs 2 or less. Okay, so this sort of lets you skip ahead in time. It's not a random unit. It's a random card from your deck. But that's kind of neat. You could use this. I mean, we already have a lot of stuff in that tutoring space, but I don't know. Is Bursting Blight going away?
No, it's staying.
So this is another thing in that like Bursting Blight / Ooze space, which will help a lot with the 1-drop stuff. I could see using this in the 1-drop deck. Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, this is very interesting. I like this as a cheap tutor for like 1 mana. I'm not sure exactly how this is blocked, but it kind of matters a lot because if it's 3 different units guaranteed, that opens up a lot more deck building space than if it just picks 3 random ones. because you can run 3 2-drops and always know what you're going to hit.
Yeah, of course, the minor issue with this is it could hit itself, which is kind of annoying. But
Oh
even
yeah,
that,
so you'd only be able to get 2 different 2-drops then.
yeah, that's kind of an issue with it. I wish it didn't have to hit itself, but Grief, what do you think of this?
Well, it's kind of a plus side, considering it technically tutors into itself. So it does actually manage to get you another tutor on the next turn. The thing is, like, even then in deck building, you would probably run 2 of them, so you don't really hit them always. But in the early game, especially in aggro decks, you can drop this, look at one of your aggressive agile units, put it on top of your deck, have it definitely online the next turn 2. So basically, you can either build your deck around a very low curve to get whatever you want at the time you want it, because you have a pretty good toolbox of 2 costs or less, or just put a specific pool of cards you wanted to the 4 in terms of units. And this basically can either be an extender into itself to just get that specific card on the next turn, or sorry, in the following turn, or basically, yeah, be a toolbox for that specific deck.
I know a really good home for this. You can get out your Scavenger and get it guaranteed turn 2 every time, because Scavenger is going to be nuts post rotation.
Well, that's good. I'm eager to see what kind of designs come out of that in the future. And the Alldragon. The Alldragon is a 10-drop neutral 7/7 dragon god from Saga with flying, overrun, summon, banish up to 9 cards from your graveyard. If at least 3 cards from an affinity were banished, channel its aspect. Channel all 3 to play the Alldragon's aspect. The Alldragon's aspect reduces the cost of your off affinity cards everywhere by 3. The aspect of mind is draw 3 actions, then play them. The aspect of strength destroys 3 random units. And aspect of spirit revives the top 3 units of your graveyard. So, Kyung-mi, cool stuff. What else is going on here? Grief, go.
Did you say Kyung-mi? Have you ever heard of self-mill or discard
Yeah.
and dragons?
Also, one very important part to complete the quest. There is only one Spirit Dragon. So you actually need the 2-drop that makes a card in your hand neutral to complete this.
I see. Okay.
I mean, a Spirit. Which is exclusive, by the way.
Also, you can basically run this card and don't have to actually hit all the 9 cards, because you can banish up to 9. Meaning that, okay, you drop this, you're running a mono blue deck, you're running a blue red one, mono red green, whatever. You always get something out of discount Tiamat.
I do love the flavor in the art, and I think Spikebird did an amazing job with that, and VM Nunes. Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, you really don't need to run this specifically for getting all 9. Like, Alldragon's aspect honestly isn't that good. So just getting, like, you can just run this as a cheaper Ush in mine. Obviously it's not quite as strong as Ush, which is balanced because it's a lot less mana. But if you build your deck in the right way, and like playing 3 actions, like that can already be game winning, just playing 3 actions for free.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you guys are right that you could channel this into 3 different elements or 3 different affinities and get some interesting stuff out of it. And I do like I said, I absolutely love the flavor and stuff. I don't know quite what to build it in, but you guys brought up a bunch of great examples. Anyways, I just wanted to jump straight over to the active submissions, because that's the fun part of the show. So these are cards that are available for you guys to vote on the subreddit right now. It's reddit.com/collectivecg or something. I don't know. Figure it out. San Klaus. I want to do this for Christmas, so I did pick my own card because Christmas. This is my gift to myself. San Klaus is a 5-drop mine, 3/5 human arcanist from Carthian with unblockable, agile, and when this attacks, shuffle 2 Coals into the opponent's deck, shuffle 2 Presents into your deck. Each player draws a token. And entrance, shuffle 5 Presents into your deck, shuffle 5 Coals into your opponent's deck. The presents gain you 2 HP and draw a card, and when you draw this, play it. The flaming lumps of coal is take 2 damage and draw a card, and when you draw this, play it. So the one change that Spikebird made, he just asked for permission to repost this, is he did change it to Mind, which now does give Mind a potential a little bit of life gain. But I think this does play more into their like unblockable type shenanigan type evasive game plan. And it's doing a lot better this time. So what do we think about it? Grief, I'll let you start.
Since we already talked about this card way back when, I advise people watching that episode because my comments toward that.
Which one even was it?
Do you think it works better in Mind than in Strength?
Oh, by far.
Okay.
In Mine, it means this drops right that hand before Dora.
Okay. So that's good. It has maybe more of a place. Empty, what do you think?
Yeah, this triggers the new hero on its own, which I think is really cool. Other than that, it's in a really awkward spot because it's like this mid-range beater, and Mine doesn't really do mid-range. But hey, with the hero changes, anything's possible. And this is really strong if it finds the right deck.
Yeah, Bonk, what do you think of this?
This is... Thank you for the gift, strangers. This is the near perfect Dora support I wanted. Barring your opponent and gaining some health from the draws, while also getting closer to the 24 attack. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll be finally seeing this in the game, and I'll have another legendary.
It has a lot of upvotes.
It does. Croza, the Life Desearcher, is a 4-drop neutral 4/4 speed arcanist from Zucros with Agile Fast, and when you play a candy, create a Decompose. The candies are the 3 options from Zucros. They always have been. Decompose gives a unit -1/-1, and Entomb, create a random candy for your opponent. So basically, you're turning your opponent's units into pinatas, and every candy you play has a chance to become or will now actually basically give you neutral card advantage. Which the card it creates also has neutral card advantage. So it's just a really great value engine and a really cute thing. I picked this one because candy is an important part of Christmas. And Magneter, I'll let you get started with this one. What do you think of it?
I feel like it's a bit odd how it can't really do anything on its own. I don't think we have enough candy generators just yet.
We're getting there. We got Lolly-Poly and some others.
Also, the Piñata
guess.
Man.
I
There
don't know,
definitely
I've
are
always-
the ways to trigger it.
The
And
problem
once it gets going,
with a card like Maya Cherry Demo, it's
Yeah.
always been difficult, at least for me, to get more than a single candy in hand, to get more than one trigger on it. Unless, I guess, dedicated candy deck would be created. Maybe it would be possible.
Empty, what do you think of this card?
I actually kind of agree. I don't think there's enough candy cards to really make this work. But it's kind of the thing where like the support cards need to get in at some point. So it doesn't really matter if there's not enough right now. Like there will be later, hopefully, if the realm takes off a bit more. It already has a solid start. And when it does, like, this will be decent. Decompose is kind of costly for what it does, but you are like recycling your candy basically by playing it. Maybe in a non-native deck, it could be pretty good since you're getting multiple triggers off one candy.
So this really could branch out and help non-natives if we saw more non-native action support. So yeah, I agree with you guys. It's kind of just not there yet. Grief, what do you think of this?
Well, I mean, I don't really have too much of a problem with this card, considering that at worst it's a neutral 4/4 beat stick with agile. I mean, there's worse with a slight upside. So yeah, as a support card, even if you don't have the amount of candies to get the payoff with a decompose and the extra tempo play, yeah, sure, whatever. It's still in neutral. Sweet Arcanist 4/4 for 4 in with agile.
One candy is all it takes.
Okay, the Sugar Fairies are a 3-drop mine 2/2 Sweet Fairy Arcanist from Zoo Cross with flying and summon, create 2 random candies. So this helps with the problem we were just mentioning. I do gotta say, I like the art on the last one on Decompose, but I didn't like the art so much on the main. I feel like Imza Corella, when they put a little bit more effort into it and you see like the cards and the candies, those are really cool. But some of these seemed a little sketchy, but still more filled in. I like this one a lot more than Desearcher is what I was saying. I actually did have a compliment in there. Dia, what do you think of this one?
It's simple. I like it. Elves are flying. It's a fairy that could work well with the mist from fairies as well.
Oh
I am
yeah,
not sure
that's
there are
a
even
great
any
point.
of them in a standard.
Well, yeah, there's none of them in standard, but I
Let alone
like,
in next rotation, where definitely will not be any.
yeah. But I like Dia's point though, because I'm a single player guy. So incorporating this with Mistim and using it for the action synergy actually sounds like a great route to go. And it'd be interesting to see maybe people pull for that kind of thing. Grief, what do you think of this?
Would curve perfectly into the agile dude that we just talked about. Is decent of support for candies. Does support Victory because you still create 2 actions that you can play off of him. It's already in mind. It's a flyer, so it has a build evasion. It's a decent card.
Empty, what's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I love this. This is like the perfect card that candies need to like fill in the curve and get an easy way to like generate some candies in your hand. Plus, like Grief said, this works with Rick, and I think Candy Rick could be a really cool deck. And on top of that, it also works really well with the new hero because this is your proc right there on turn 3.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of great things going for this. So I'm really hoping it gets in.
Yeah, it's sitting at 7 right now, which is not bad. So, I mean, here's hoping. But yeah. Whoop. The Big Game Whale is a 3-drop neutral 2/3 fish from nowhere in particular, with discard a unit with base cost 8 or more to draw 2 cards. So this is basically a way to cycle stuff for like a Gemel fish type situation if you're not ready to play your big thing. And it also, you can use it as a 2/3 that also can sort of meticulous research you almost. I like this a lot, but I do feel that with the flavor that they chose, this really should have been thrown a Karachar on there. That would have been cute, or an Osagarth even. Probably a little bit better for Karachar the way it looks. Empty, what do you think of this?
I'm not really sure where to play it. I know like Gap is like something that comes to mind, but it's not that great there. I mean, I guess with Gap out, like this cycles itself and keeps your hand at the same size. But discarding a unit with base cost 8 or more is kind of a tall order for that. So I'm not really sure it has a home.
I think it's good as, I mean, in terms of like limited and stuff, having a way to get rid of big drops to get smaller drops out could be useful. Grief, what do you think of that?
I mean, this is similar to some stuff in games like Yu-Gi-Oh, where they have like, I think, trade-in, which fun enough means that you have to discard you have to sacrifice a level 8 monster to draw 2 cards. This basically reminds me instantly of that. But yeah, moving forward, this is just for Reanimator, for big stuff matters. You don't need to have an archetype or tribal specific card you need to discard, so this can fill in choose being Inspector decks, undead, whatever, just to pitch the card into the graveyard and get a benefit of it, and maybe later reuse it out of the grave. Who knows? Whatever. It's just decent-ish as a card draw engine for a very specific trigger to for a very specific card draw interaction.
Dia, what do you think of this?
Let's see. Destroy the unit basic. And it could be useful. I don't know. Maybe. Do you think you see it kind of play? Well, I think I see it in single player play, at least.
So here is what you discard in like the no-brainer discard. Minutes from Stomper. You either draw another from Stomper, which will get cheaper because of the drawn cards, while the Summon Stomper itself allows you to draw 2 cards.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's cute. And its potential is like a single player, maybe limited type thing could be cool. This would be good in Sentinels, actually, if Sentinels, like becomes a thing. Okay, the Chamber Sweetmaid, lots of Christmas candy today. Is a 3-drop mind 3/3 Sweet Fairy made from Zucros. With summon, look at the bottom card of a deck. Bottom card of deck, I'm guessing it's your deck. Draw it or mill it to create a random candy. So this is cool. It's got the maid stuff going on. Dia brought up that great point earlier that you could actually, maybe we could see some more Miss Them stuff or just see more fairies and Zucros. That would be interesting. And of course, this synergizes with the maid game plan of fiddling around with your deck and the new hero. So pretty versatile. Grief, what do you think of this?
In all honesty, just a utility unit. 3/3 for 3. Mind creates a candy. Or could create a candy at the worst case scenario. It's just support for the new hero and allows you to draw a card. In corner cases, the mill is actually maybe important.
Well, yeah, if you need bottom of deck fixing or whatever, if we see that become more of a thing. Empty, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Ruth. There's not much else to say here. Decent support for the new hero and candies.
Magneter, you are... Oh, this is from Zucros. Why is this not Meanwhar? Are you as outraged as I am?
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed it wasn't from Manowar, but not enough to mention it. Mostly I know that Imzakrala wanted to get... I think they wanted to get the legendary slot for Zucros, so... And I think they're quite close to getting it too, so...
I see. Well, I mean, with all the great submissions from Imzakrala this week...
It can fit both realms, so it is up to the creator to decide.
Yeah.
And he decided Zucros. That's how I see it.
Well, yeah, but I'm allowed to throw a fit over whatever I want. This is my show.
I am also allowed to call you out on that.
Yeah. So what do you think of the card, Magneter?
Well, I like that it creates candies. I like cards which create candies because, well, there aren't really that many. I think more would be good. It works pretty neat with bottom of deck stuff. Something I'd really want to do would be an Auras deck. And so I think having cards which can draw from bottom of deck are pretty useful for it.
So yeah, that's a good potential route for it. The Bottled Inferno is a 3-drop strength artifact from Seal of Elementary with destroy a unit and create 5 flames for its owner. So at the very, very least, this is Imzakrala's great use of a Gentle Cat art. We have a lot of destroy for cheap effects, but this one actually has sort of a dual-edged sword because you could also use this for yourself and benefit not a double-edged sword. It's just got another use is you can use it to get you a quick army of little 1/1 non-natives, which is potentially pretty useful. Bonk, what do you think of this?
Honestly, I do not really have much to say. I do have noticed that there is a move for sacrifice flames. And you're probably never using this on your opponent due to how hard it is to come out with an AoE nowadays.
So yeah, in bigger formats, I think there's more you can do in the way of AoEs. If you're willing to splash, of course, this does give you a very nice layup with Moonlight's Judgment in form. Of course, that takes a lot of mana up, but
Isn't
be
it
cool.
rotating out? Or...
do this and Moonlight's Judgment the next turn and get a lot of extra pings in. Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I really like this card. So first of all, like that art needs to get in. It's too good not to. And I really like the dual-sided removal of this, like the nature of this card. Like having this weird deck where you're swarming, but then like in some situations you want to be destroying your opponent's stuff and giving them a small board. Maybe into like gaining a bunch of life off a flame bow spell or something. Could be really cool. And I think like there's a lot of interesting applications for this.
Yeah.
In those weird strength sort of semi-control decks.
Grief, what do you think?
It's probably a decent balance between either being a sacrifice tool to swarm the board with flames because they have quite a few synergies, or being a pretty damn efficient hard removal card for anything that basically puts a negligible for basically everything that's pretty large and needs to go off the board, because the downside of swarming the board with 5/1/1 flames in certain situations that's pretty negligible. And if your deck is actually set up to the point where, oh yeah, they basically have they basically create 5 non-units, or in the case of having a full board, create only 1 unit in exchange for something that is more potentially more dangerous. This is definitely one of our most potent removal actions in the game then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the type of removal I want to see, like post-removal nerf initiative. Like you have to actually build around this in order for it to be useful.
Okay, Ragu Kai's Hatchling is a 4-drop mine 3/3 dragon from Yamato with flying and summon. Give your other flying units in play and hand +1/+1. So it's always been in kind of a weird spot on and off. You see initiatives to push forward, push back on it. I don't know where it's sitting exactly right now, but mine flyers. Or sometimes you see the whole mind strength flyers variant. This, I do like the whole hand buff. I think we need more hand buff in this game personally. And so that's exciting about it. I don't know quite how it fits into the deck it could go in, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that this is just like a Lord kind of. Dia, what do you think of this?
I like it. Someone finally used it artwork, and I think it will work well in flying deck. Do you have any flying unit for standard for the next rotation?
I mean, yeah, flying we're pretty much always going to have, and of course since we're seeing those fairies have a Zookros that could help. And then I think for mine that's the big thing that's being pushed maybe. As we're seeing some in Zookros. Can't off the top of my head. Oh well, I guess if every now and again we see some AV stuff. So, Grief, what do you think of this?
To be honest, I could see this actually in KM, due to the fact that KM allows you to play this with a discounted cost. Additionally, your auto flyers and other affinities can get benefits off of when if they are strength, they get extra +1/+1 additionally to this Lord buff, while also getting duelist, etc. So this just basically helps you out to get more range or more mileage out of your units, even if you could play them off with their off affinity tags, because with the voting going on with the intro set, there is the splash support in her as her options to be voted in. So maybe going forward, that's the direction that you can see with her.
Mm-hmm. MT, what do you think?
Yeah, I think KM might be the home for this currently. I know I'm tinkering around with a Hit the Hive KM deck post rotation, and I think this might be a solid inclusion into that.
Yeah, I do like the whole sticky Lord concept as well, having a Lord that doesn't actually rely on being in play to do its thing. And it's sitting at 9, so yeah, start brewing, guys.
It's also a spike bird design, so the chances it gets in are fairly high.
Yeah. The Faux Silver Rush is a 1-drop spirit event from Carapac with return target insect, scorpion, or spider from your graveyard to hand. Give it +1/+1 overrun in the horror tribe. Obviously very cool art, very cool flavor wise. I'm not really following the deck, so I've seen a lot of great things from it, and I should maybe pick it up because I do love me good old fashioned Spirit Swarm. Bonk, what do you think of this?
So this is probably gonna be strong. That's the first thing I have to say.
So what specific synergies do you see with this?
Do you know one scorpion that deserves way more play than it currently does? The
You're
one
talking-
for Deadly Ward.
Oh,
was
so
it
you're talking the Mirage
Targaryen?
one? Of course, that's going to be... Oh, I guess it doesn't buff the cost at all, so now it would actually be about on curve. And, you know, you can get a second bit of removal out of it for cheap. So that's actually a pretty decent play, yeah?
And also the Sting Brothers. And the like. Yeah, there's a pretty lot of strong stuff coming in
Yeah.
for this.
So this should play into some interesting, yeah. Grief, what do you think of this?
So it's basically another reanimation spell. The thing is, the pool for good targets is at the current time rather, well, negligible. What do I mean with that? There are like certain good targets, like the Scorpion, like the Brothers. There's the dude that creates more tokens in your hand, which now actually allows you to get more mileage out of that. And 2 units in general get more mileage out of it. And you can play this, funny enough, in spiders. So hooray, spider support. At good spider support. Take notes, folks. What the most important part about this is also the overrun and the horror tribe, because there are certain interactions like with Garb and stuff like that where you can place horrors. So maybe this could have synergies later down the line. But overall, yeah, it's a one cost reanimator for any kind of shell that allows it. It's a good card.
Empty spider support.
Not really, though. I mean, if you look at our spiders, giving them overrun isn't exactly
Wait a second. You have seen the spiders that are on the intro set voting list. You know that people that put those cards on the voting list don't give a shit about the old direction. We want a new one.
Yeah.
All spiders are an atrocity.
Yeah.
And a story
War
machine
crime.
until level 5 or 4 nowadays.
Yeah, but I think as far as the direction that's going to stick around post-Roto, spiders might be a decent home for it, but we can see what else people might do with this. Karma the Grand Deva is a 1-drop neutral 8/8 construct from Walnock with ward, overrun, and your units that don't share tribes with allied units cost 1 less for each different... Okay, give me a second. Your units that don't share tribes with allied units cost 1 less for each different tribe among allies. And then entrance, banish 5 allied units that don't share tribes with, I'm pretty sure that's each other is 1 word. Otherwise, banish this. So it's a menagerie synergy thing. And it's got like a really, really tough to meet banish rider. So I want to say that, oh guys, this is for my deck. Thank you. This is the greatest Christmas present I could receive. Well, not my deck. It's really Spike's deck. So what you do is you just do your thing that gives you all those like 1-drop random units. Most of them don't share tribes with each other. Play this thing, banish it, and then I can get my Belfry out for free. This card is a nightmare to read. and I hate that part of it.
Well,
But
you know why?
yeah,
Fuck shapeshift. That's why.
but it could be cool. It's cool. I like it now that I get what it does. Grief. It's a Walnox card, so I'll let you talk first.
The thing is, like, what do you want me to talk about it in terms of Valna? Because in terms of Valna, that's definitely lore implications, quite huge lore implications, but no one actually gives a shit about it. So I'm not going to talk about them. In terms of playability, yeah, this actually opens up space for more actual interesting menagerie decks. Not every type matters, but oh yeah, it matters that all units actually have a different tribe, and that was actually not the case because shapeshift is a thing, but because that's actually a direction that Mice hardly actually touched upon. So Wujek wanted to actually explore that space more. And he was looking for a space to put that in, and I said, "Yeah, technically, this will actually fit into lore-wise into a walnut." Okay, now give me a mechanic that actually fits the realm.
Yeah.
Which the
And
banish
that's how the
clause
entrance
is.
came to be.
Which the banish clause of the entrance is.
Yeah.
By the way, since we figured out it actually needs that much much text, we looked at, okay, what realm has actually legendary slots? Oh yeah, Walnut. I hardly use them. Oh yeah, we have like 4 legendary slots. Slap that fucker.
Yeah, we have a lot of potential legendaries coming in. Now that I look at this more, I do. It works well with the deck I have, but this card's gonna get updated. It has to get updated because
Why?
because it has wings and it doesn't fly.
You know, it actually doesn't fly.
It has wings.
It actually, no, they actually don't fly.
What are the wings for, Grief?
Dude.
Is it a
They-
tree
Those
topper?
aren't, those
Is it
aren't
to top
wings.
Christmas tree?
Dude, those aren't wings.
They look like wings. I
That's
don't know.
decoration.
Magneter, what do you think of the card?
Like, it's like a cape. Think of it like a cape.
Bonk, 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 stop.
Magneter, wings or no wings?
Is this the most important part?
No, it isn't. So
No,
let's
you can
move
talk
on.
about
I don't
whatever.
want to waste time on this bullshit.
Well, I would want to use it for the Portal Way hype.
Oh yeah, that's a
Deck.
great. I know there are a lot of people that have been trying to brew that.
Yeah, because the deck is quite fun, but it I usually get the quest finished around the turn when I die, which is not great to say the least. And this potentially, maybe, hopefully, could let you finish it faster. I mean, it's even if you didn't actually get the 5 different 5 allies which don't share drives with each other. Actually, that's it.
I think
Wait,
you have
is
to
that one
select
banished?
5 to banish them.
Because
If
you
you
don't
that one
have,
banished.
because you don't actually have to have 5 allied units that don't share drives with each other to play this, right?
You do
Yeah,
not.
but then it'll just
But it
banish itself.
itself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it will banish itself.
It
but it's
banishes, not
1 mana, I
destroys.
guess. Which, at the moment, I guess we have.
They choose
what was it
3.
called?
That makes
The
it self.
card, the portal card, which then gives you a portal which gives you the units back. What was it called?
Why the storage?
Yeah, that one. But I am pretty sure this is going to rotate, so this could potentially be a sort of an alternative. The one problem maybe potentially could be that I feel like we tend to have quite a bit of generic tribes which are put on a lot of cards.
That's the fun part.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
something
I
like
think it's a challenging
Arcanist.
build around.
something like Arcanist, for example, is on a lot of cards.
Mhm.
That's the fun part again.
Yeah. MT, what do you think of this?
Okay, so for Portal Way hype, I think there's a big problem with running this, which is that if you actually get it into play, next turn it will turn into a random 2-drop, and you will lose your big lord. It's just so funny that you brought up Misfist Stranger Side, because I can't wait until my opponent plays a Misfist and then gets 2 karmas off of it, and they only get 1 unit. The other 2 just banish themselves on entrance.
Yeah, that's a potential issue. Yeah, because I just, by the way, upvote the Henry update because I'm tired of playing my random 1-drops and
Do
and
not
losing the
upvote that
game.
update. Sorry, but no. Do not upvote that. Because Henry actually breaks a lot of stuff.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
What does Syracuse
I don't
penny
like this
break?
anymore because it's 2 cost. Or because it's not 2 cost. It needs to be 2 cost.
No, at that point it's very bad because it needs to be a 1 cost.
Also, there have
Make
to be
0 cost for all I care. Any number that's not 1.
No. To be honest, look at my name.
Griff.
I personally enjoy it a lot if people grieve themselves because they wanted to have fun.
That's the fun part. Like, what if I get humility out of my 7th drop? That's fun.
Also, the true way to use this card is to play Emerging Mist on one of your units and then scout it. Give casual 2 mana +8/+8 Warden Overwhelm.
Oh.
And at this point, we all figured out the true meaning of Christmas is to play Mistfist deck and only get the Karma Christmas tree out of all your rules.
Okay. Moving on. Drake the Forsaken Medic is a 4-drop spirit 2/4 insect horror from Karapak with Vigilant, and the first time an ally non-horror insect dies each turn, at the beginning of next turn, create a 1-mana 1/1 insect horror copy of it in hand. An active, destroy an allied insect to draw 2 cards, then banish a card from your hand. This is, well, first of all, it's distressing. Like, it's the art is just openly distressing and it makes me sad.
The art used to be much cleaner, which is the funny part. The art used to be much healthier.
Yeah, but flavor-wise, this is an interesting card. I really like kind of the story it's telling here, and seeing all these the token insect strategies obviously just makes me very, very happy. I would love to see this as a legendary for Karapak. Dia, what do you think of this? Dia, are you still with us?
Alive.
Yeah, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, you're muted.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
I really like the artwork, weird and disturbing. So I pick it, but I also like the abilities I get. I get it is legendary. And a visual with a new keyword. Maybe have some use. Or maybe just be playing single player, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I also do like how this plays into like the reanimator strategies and some of the other things that's going on with Karapak. And all in all, this is just very versatile, very cool. Empty, what do you think of this?
I can kind of only see the Karapak insect through the eyes of Dustwing Brothers now. And like my immediate thought is, oh, this isn't very good with Dustwing Brothers. I mean, I guess there could be some value-based insect deck. Or like you're sacking the card draw matters and like getting the 1/1 copies with like a sort of Swarm Bullock deck. But I'm not really seeing it.
Wait, what do you mean this does not work with casting?
Well, it makes it a 1-mana 1/1, which isn't very good.
The copies it creates are still to choose.
No, it copies the stats, so they'd be 1/1s.
But also the copies are not horror, so you can. It's
The copies that Dustwing Brothers create are not. I see it. I don't know. It's been a while since I read the Dustwing Brothers. I think it works. Grief, what do you think of this?
Neat card. Let's move on.
Okay.
Short.
Yeah, we gotta kind of get going. We gotta kind of get moving here. We only got 2 more cards. 2 more cards, folks. We got this. It's a Christmas special. We can go long, right? Jammy, oh boy. Jammy Sue is a 5-drop neutral 3/7 human Arcanist Knight from nowhere in particular with rebound and summon. Create a random needlessly dramatic destruction spell. All 5 of the tokens say destroy target unit in different randomly contrived manners. I'm not going to read them all for you. You can go on the website and read them if you like, but all of them basically lead to the same thing happening, plus or minus a small minor caveats. And if anyone needs to bring them up, they can when they talk about the card. It's sitting at 0. Grief, what do you think of it?
I hate this card. I utterly hate this card. I'm also not a big fan of Jamie as a character as a whole. I've said that multiple times. But that's actually not the reason why I hate this card. First of all, it has a needlessly long way of flavor texting what it actually does.
Oh yeah, it's
The
on
next thing.
common.
The next part is, while they all are different flavors of destroy a thing, each of them can actually interact with targets in very weird manners. Let's take, for example, where is it? Oh yeah, Triple Thunder Pyroblast. There's a unit in Legacy, or will be in Legacy, which is called Guardian of the Abyss, which has the text that says, Rage. Damage dealt to this is dealt to both players. By the way, Triple Thunder Pyroblast says, deal 8 damage to a unit. Then deal 7 more damage to it. Then deal 10 more damage to it. That's 25 damage if you people actually did the math, which means that if you have 26 HP, you can kill your opponent or do a double suicide, whatever. And you have more bullshit like that with HP interactions when you do stuff like, I think Mega Titan Obliteration. Oh yeah, if you randomly hit that thing and randomly hit a unit that has Life Bond, oh yeah, the target that it hits, with now the increased attack, gives you more HP. And so on and so forth. This card is bullshit.
Yeah,
let
me be clear. On the flavor aspect, I think this card is really cute, really flavorful. And I still really don't like this card. I really don't like it because there's 5 tokens that just do needlessly convoluted things. Like you just said, it's an uncommon on that could be a common on text. It's trying too hard, which makes sense given what it's actually supposed to be. But it's trying too hard in a way that just makes the card totally unappealing to me.
That's what we call a
and also
forced
it's a lot of broken
meme.
interactions there.
So Bonk, did you just pick this to make Grief angry?
I mean, it was more because one of these he's not actually capable of destroying, and 2, there's several weird and negative interactions this can have.
Yeah.
From the token you get. Like
MC, what do you think of this?
Of a stand finisher.
Yeah.
Everything leads to a lot of weird interactions.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what's already been said. I don't really have anything to add. It's like way too much for the like goal of flavor, and it just detracts from the card in a lot of ways.
Okay, Soulflayer Gadreel is a 4-drop Spirit 4/3 Spectre Arcanix with Agile, Overrun, and Slay. Banish the slain unit. When this is discarded, return this to hand and transform this. Soulflayer Gadreel, the other side, is a 4-drop 3/4 Spectre Knight Arcanist with Duelist, Entomb, or Slay, Banish the slain unit, and Entomb, return this to hand and transform this. So it's a ghost with a means to transform and become a slightly different ghost, and yeah, that. Magneter, talk about this card real quick.
So generally I like the sort of concept of transform.
Mm-hmm.
I personally never was really able to make good cards with a sort of transform mechanic, and I still feel like they're pretty cool, and I would want to see more of them. Though what I do have to say is I feel like this card would probably be pretty strong. I think because you can potentially, well, you can keep it forever technically, potentially. If you actually discard it, then you will get it back later and you can discard it again.
Yeah,
which
I
could
do think
maybe be
that part of the card's
problematic.
kind of annoying. That it just has a means to keep coming back over and over again, which is that it can be a repeated discard trigger. It is slow to use it that way, but it still could have quite a bit of potential. Grief, what do you think of this?
It's versatile. It's not really annoying. It's versatile, I would say. Sure, it has a recursive. It has an inbuilt recursive loop that is basically broken the moment you play the Soulflayer or discard the Soulslayer, depending on depending which unit you're facing. Soulflayer on its own is a very potent unit, being an agile overrunner for 4. Problem is, if that dies, you don't get a Soulslayer interaction. But both at least have the banish effect clause, which is very good disruption that we actually need in the game. On the other hand, Soulslayer needs to have needs to be online to get Soulslayer online. You need to actually build this self-discard shell into your deck, or have the luck at actually facing discard decks that allow you to pick your own cards. So Soulflayer can actually go into Soulslayer in that interaction. At that point, it's a very potent duelist that you don't really want to get rid of as your opponent, at least not via destruction, or hope that you get rid of it as soon as possible for it actually wreaks havoc on your board. Yeah. So the interaction from Soulflayer into Soulslayer is very interesting. But in very niche cases, you want to use the Soulflayer. The Soulflayer, most of the time, sits in your hand to be discarded if you have a dedicated deck around it.
He's a good bit of reach, though.
The thing is, like as you mentioned, for the reach, that's the moment you want to draw it. Or if you have a very aggressive deck that occasionally self-discards, that doesn't really care about the Soulslayer, but occasionally gets into it as an extra advantage engine when you want to when you have a mid-range deck that now wants to pivot into a control plan.
The more you talk about it, the more I'm thinking maybe I was a bit hesitant. It looks too powerful, but of course I'm really horrible at evaluating cards. And I think because of how slow the process of making it infinitely recursive is, this is just a well-designed, good, versatile card. Now, you really did change my opinion on that. MT, what do you think?
It's all right. I'm not as big of a fan of it as Grief. I actually agree with, I think it was Magneter, that this can get pretty annoying. It's sort of like really repeatable removal effects that are very difficult to interact with, can get really old really quick. And Spectre's kind of just moved away from that removal spam because they lost Huntsman. And it's not really, like, I don't really want to have that Spectres be that deck again. But it's not that bad. Like, I think it'd be fine if it got in, but I'm so on it.
The thing is, like, you mentioned Huntsman. Huntsman was a free interaction, or mostly free interaction. This at least leads you to always still pay the 4 mana initially, and has to wait a turn.
Yeah, it's absolutely more balanced than Huntsman. I'm not arguing that point.
I think probably my biggest gripe from it is actually on sort of a comprehension complexity standpoint, where the use of 2 arts that actually look kind of samey to somebody who is just glancing at them, and then the use of 2 names that are almost identical, 1 letter changed, I think kind of gunks it up in my brain. And I think maybe some more effort should be made if we are going to resub and retune this to make the names different, or make that kind of like Flesh Flayer and Soul Slayer. I don't know, something that really makes it clear which side you're looking at. Comprehension complexity matters, and I think that is a little
look at many of the transform cards in Magic. That same logic applies to them.
Well, yeah, they usually reference each other, but the art is different enough. Here, the art is also really similar in terms of if you're just glancing at them, it might be hard to tell which one's which, or remember which side is which without having to read the card again. So that's my thoughts on it. I do think the flavor on this is kind of eh. So I'm going to stop the share. I hope you guys enjoyed our Christmas special experiments. I enjoyed so much having all of my guests on. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you all. Y'all can just answer in no particular order. Well,
Yay.
yay.
Yeah.
Magneto, you
Enjoy
still
your
there?
coal.
Magneto went to
Yeah.
sleep. Thank you very much, Grief and Empty Folder, for joining us as always. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remind me why I'm doing this show. And keep on playing collective and keep on voting on cards. Bye. Happy holidays.
Opa.